Hello and welcome back to my Pokemon Emerald, Theta Nuzlocke. Today we're going to be taking on Brawly, Watson and Flannery and catching more Pokemon. While I was getting Thot up to the same level as the other Pokemon, he just so happened to evolve into a Sylveon. This is honestly the most appropriate evolution for a Pokemon called Thot. Wait, I just remembered, Thot is a boy. Does that make him a trap?
You triggered my trap card!
Well, with that sorted, we went to Mr. Briney's house and walked in on an in-progress domestic abuse situation.
To the moon, Lois!
He was just using space travel as a metaphor for beating his wife.
And we then took to the seas and ended up on the island of Dewford. And before I took on Brawly, I went to the cave to the north of town and here I caught a Woobat. I actually quite like Woobat, but I don't think I've ever actually used one, so this might be an interesting addition to the squad later down the line. And I named this Woobat Bart for SW. Should have called it Bort, that's a much more common name.
Come along, Bort.
Are you talking to me?
No, my son is also named Bort.
I then had a little level grind before the fight with Brawly, and our own little trap learnt the beast move that is Drain Kiss, which will likely help us demolish Brawly. Well, I think it's time we introduced ourselves to the big kahuna himself.
Let's go, lesbians, let's go!
The first Pokemon Brawly sent out was a matchup, and I sent in our number one Thot to Drain Kiss them all to death. And this was honestly the easiest battle yet, with Thot carving his way through most of his squad with one hit KO after one hit KO. It really is appropriate that he has Drain Kiss, it's like he's extracting all the money from his simps.
What you mean to say is, I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy.
And the only Pokemon that gave us the least bit of resistance was his Hariyama, that died after 2 Drain Kisses instead of 1. Man, this Thot is far too powerful for us mere mortals. Bow before Thot.
Kneel before Zod!
With that battle out of the way, we went to the cave to the north where I taught our Thot Flash. God, this Pokemon is my new favourite meme. The jokes just write themselves. We then delivered the letter to Stephen and set sail, this time for Slateport. And we did the usual business of dealing with Archie and his simps, which will soon be Thot simps. Then Scott turns up to be a creepy predator as always, and we head over to Route 110 where we come across a Solosis. Another Pokemon I've never used, and it kinda looks like it belongs in a child's ball pit.
So at what point did you decide that this is what you wanted to do with your life?
And I named this little fella after Sage Mode because he said nice things, which is nice.
I'm not an incel, my internet friends called me king, see?
And it was here on this route that I got into a spot of trouble with Tokiyami against the Staryu. Jesus, Tokiyami needs to level up soon, he's so fragile in this form. And while I was on this route level grinding for the second fight against May, Osric evolved into her second form Breloom, which I have a soft spot for. And also while I was here, Tokiyami evolved into a more bulky pelican form Pelipper, just in time for a fight with May that thankfully this time was uneventful and easy for our lads. We then head over to Malville City where we take out Wally's Hentai in training handily. And after that I went to Route 117 where we caught a Ducklet. Another Pokemon I've never used and it's pretty damn cute actually. Don't let it fool you though, all ducks are rapists.
Look into it, sheeple. I've got the documents.
And I named this Ducklet after Ulf Enoch, who made this lovely pregnant fan art of me. God has just abandoned us all, hasn't he?
You are a sad, strange little man.
Well, that's all the Pokemon we can catch around here, so we better go take on Watson, which was a hell of a time.
I'm in danger!
Watson opens up proceedings with a Minim, so I sent in our boy Osric to do some rodent control. And with her new move Force Palm, she absolutely mauls this little git in one powerful shot. And the footage for the next Pokemon glitched for some reason, but it was Minim's brother Plusle who died in one hit as well, so you didn't miss anything. And the footage glitched a bit again, but we're up against a Rotom that was a bit of a beast. I didn't know the typing of Rotom and used the move that didn't affect it, and it hit Osric with a deadly critical ominous wind that gives it a stat boost in the process. And because I thought Osric could take one more hit, I left her in, and she got hit with another ominous wind. No, Osric, I can't believe I let you die on my watch twice. I will avenge you. And I sent in Bongzilla to get revenge for his fallen comrade. And Bongzilla was doing well, getting the Rotom's health pretty low, but then this happened. Bloody hell, get out of there, Bongzilla. I can't have you dying on me again. I swapped in our overpowered Overlord Thot to finally take down this menace. And Thot takes a little bit of damage, but it manages to take down the Rotom with its Drain Kisses of death. Then Watson sent out a Flaffy, which meets the same fate as Rotom, with Thot mercilessly kissing it to death. After this, Watson sent in Magneton, which resisted Thot's unwanted advances, only taking minimal damage from a draining kiss. And it responded with a super effective mirror shot that seriously injures our number 1 e-girl. And because we're going to need Thot later, I swapped him out for Kevin Bacon, who manages to murder this Magneton without taking a hit, but his special defense has been lowered considerably. Then Watson sent in his last Pokemon, the beast that is Monetric. And because I was worried about Kevin Bacon's lowered special defense, I swapped him out for Carlos Santana. And Santana is hit with a bite on his entrance. And when he can finally hit back, he uses a fake out to stun the little git. On the next turn of combat, Monetric uses an Electro Ball. And Santana gets some of his life essence back after this. And then I decided it was probably a good time to switch out Carlos Santana because I didn't want another death on my conscience. I of course sent in our living meme that is Thot to finish this battle out, and he is hit with an Electro Ball in his entrance that barely grazes him. Monetric follows up with an equally feeble Thunderfang, and then the Drain Kisses start to come in, almost killing the Monetric. And like the coward he is, Watson heals up the Monetric with a Super Potion, which is very annoying. Then I continued the Drain Kiss barrage, this time getting him into the yellow, and poor Thot got paralysed in the process. Then Monetric charges up another Electro Ball. God damn, there's been a lot of crit close calls in this battle. And incensed by this insult, Thot responds with his own critical hit, killing the Monetric for good. Okay, I officially simmed for Thot. He is going to be the new Hentaimon, the best trapper trainer could ask for. Well, we better go lay Osric to rest. Osric, I'm sorry you had to die in 2 different runs, buddy. You were a great Pokemon. Goodbye. F's in the comments for Osric, boys.
But he was doing good, and that what makes it so bad.
And because I've never used the Solosis before, I put Sage Mode into the team. You've got big shoes to fill, buddy. Well, with that out of the way, I headed up to the Fiery Path where I caught a Numel. I actually quite like Numel in its evolution, but I know for a fact that there's Slugma and Alolan Grimer in this cave, which would have been amazing, but oh well, I guess. And I named this doofy boy after Jay Lewis, who way back in the day when I did my Pokemon trading card game Let's Plays did the percentages of my coin tosses for every episode like a top lad. Such great days playing a children's card game.
For some reason, playing a card game has caused me to become severely injured.
I then headed over to Route 112 and here I caught a Tepig. I absolutely love Tepig, he's one of my favourite starters of all time.
I mean, look at this adorable bastard, how could you hate that? I would never put you in a box.
And I named this Tepig Caleb after Finzo11's son because him and his son watch my Nuzlocke runs together and that's just wholesome. But I'm not sure a kid should be watching my content, they'll probably end up weird.
Fuck.
Next I headed to the aesthetically pleasing Ashen Waste that is Route 113 and here I caught a Klefki, which has got to be up there with the worst Pokemon designs ever. It's a bloody set of door keys. And I named this Pokemon Silly Balls after Captain Silly Balls because a ridiculous Pokemon deserves a ridiculous name.
Yeah, you silly goose. You're so silly.
After this I went up to Meteor Falls where I caught a Bagon. Wow, I can't complain about this, Salamancer's an absolute beast. And I named this good boy Dragon after Noxus, who is a legendary subscriber of this channel. He's also a fellow alcoholic like myself. Slancher, brother.
Hell yeah!
And on the way back to town on Route 114, I caught myself a Lickitung. I wanna lick you up and down till you say stop.
No one rules a clit like me. Not this little fuck. None of you little fucks out there.
And I named the king of Cunnilingus Chip Goat after Chipped Goat, who commented, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen Swellow? Well, it depends if it's a Hoenn Swellow or a Sinnoh Swellow.
Who didn't know so much about swallows?
And I thought I would do a bit of level grinding before we head over to Mount Chimney. And during the level grinding process, a few things of interest happened. Santana learnt Uproar, which will be a lot more useful than Astonish. Kevin Bacon finally attained his ultimate form Swampert. The Bug King learnt the move Drill Run, which will be very handy at keeping the best boy alive and kicking. And finally Sage Mode evolved into Duosion and learnt the beast move Psychic. Well, with everyone sufficiently leveled, I headed up to Mount Chimney where we easily defeated Maxie. Then I went down the Jagged Pass where I caught a Pineco. And I really like Pineco and his evolution, they're among my Gen 2 favourites. And I named this Pokemon Gabbo for Jacob Smith because he played on my love of goblins. And Pineco is green, I guess? I'm a little goblin, I'm a little goblin.
I don't want to see him kissing goblins, having political succubus with goblins.
With that out of the way, we find ourselves in Lava Ridge Town, home of the Fire-type gym leader Flannery, who I must admit I had a bit of a crush on as a teenager. I'm pretty sure Pokemon single-handedly made me love midriffs on women. Well, Pokemon and, of course, Shakira.
One more time.
And because of the abundance of water Pokemon in my squad, I thought I would have no trouble with this fight. And because of this, I went into this fight a little bit under-leveled. I'm gonna have to be firing on all cylinders for this fight. Flannery first sent out Ninetales, and I sent in the best watery boy, Kevin Bacon, to wreak havoc. And sadly, Kevin was slower than Ninetales, and he gets hit with a flamethrower that does a decent amount of damage. But then Kevin Bacon responds with an Aqua Tail that gets the Ninetales' health into the yellow. Ninetales next uses a quick attack that does bugger all damage, and then Kevin lays the smackdown on Ninetales, ruining her remaining health. She then sends out a Houndoom. And Houndoom is also faster than our slow boy Kevin, and he hits us with a Foul Play that gets Swampert's health into the yellow. Mr. Bacon responds in kind with a mighty Aqua Tail that completely destroys the Houndoom. Next up is a Delphox, who smashes Swampert right in the face with a flamethrower, getting his health dangerously low. With Kevin Bacon injured, I decided to switch in our other watery boy Pelipper to do some damage. And she's hit with a flamethrower straight away that does a surprising amount of damage for a not very effective attack. Tokiyami hits the Delphox with a brine that gets its health down into the yellow. And before we can get the killing blow, Tokiyami is hit with a Mystic Fire that doesn't bother her too much, but it does lower her special attack. And then finally Tokiyami can get the killing blow with her musky brine. Then she sent out one of my favourite Pokemon of all time, Macargo, who thankfully was slower than Pelipper and went down with a single brine. She then sent out a Camerupt, who meets the same fate as Macargo because they're slower than Pelipper. And the last Pokemon up was a Torkoal, who was more trouble than I was expecting. I stuck to using Brine, which barely made a dent in Torkoal's considerable bulk. And Torkoal hits us with a flamethrower that gets Pelipper's health within knockout range. I then switched in Santana, which as it turns out was a very bad idea because he gets absolutely destroyed by a flamethrower and gets burnt in the process. So after looking at my options, which actually weren't all that promising, I decided to put my hopes behind Sage Mode, who much like Santana got completely steamrolled by a flamethrower and got burnt for the trouble as well. So after looking back at my options, I thought my best chance was hoping that Sage Mode can manage to get the KO on this Torkoal so she doesn't die. Oh thank God, I couldn't have dealt with another death in this episode. That was a very spicy situation.
Fire! Fire!
And with that, it's time to bring another episode of the Pokemon Emerald Theta Nuzlocke to a close. Don't forget to leave a comment telling me why you deserve a Pokemon named after you. The weirder the comment, the better, just saying. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.